Hello and welcome to
Charlie's Angels.
Bananas for Comics.
Hey, I'm Robbie.
I'm Rocco.
And I'm Jonathan.
And we took a week off.
Sorry.
Happy holidays.
This is our second week off. Bye.
Thank you for listening.
No, we're on episode 7.
Yes.
I'm drinking tea.
All right, what's the topic, Robbie?
So the topic today is all three of us have come up with 2 titles to recommend to the other 2 chimps. So I have a book for Robbie and Jonathan. Jonathan has a book for me and Robbie. And Robbie has a book for Jonathan and I.
That's right.
Yeah, and boy howdy, do I have some good books to recommend today. And I am excited.
I have some mediocre books that I wouldn't recommend to anyone. No, I'm just kidding. I got good books that I really like.
I have 2 books.
You have 2 books?
Full stop.
To recommend.
That's a lot of books.
Guys, we got a really fun topic, so keep listening.
Okay.
Rocco, let's let Jonathan go first.
Jonathan, would you like to go first?
I would love to.
Okay.
So,
How many cups of tea do you have in front of you?
I have 1 cup for each book I'm going to recommend.
That's a total of 2 cups.
I want to thank you for accidentally drinking out of my mug, giving yourself 2 mugs of tea.
Thank you for adding me on the show. So I'm gonna flip my coin I have right here in my hand to decide who's gonna go first. Who am I gonna recommend first? All right, heads Rocco, tails Robbie. All right, here I go.
Wow, that was a big flip.
Wow.
You caught it. Too.
Yeah, heads.
It was terrible.
Heads. That means Rocco.
Was that me? I don't remember.
Yeah.
Okay.
I hope
guess
so.
I'm going first.
I hope it was you because, full honesty, initially I thought I was coming up with 1 book for both of you, and this was the book that was going to be for both of you, but I decided to pick it for you specifically because I thought of a really good one for Robbie.
And I'm just better.
Yeah.
So.
And that book is Chew, which is
Chew?
Chew.
Like, yeah.
Chew, which
Like,
I'm panicking on.
Nom.
Because I only remember the name of the artist, Rob. Now I forgot his name.
Rob Deerdeck?
Here we go. So, Rocco, yeah, the book I'm going to recommend for you. What a smooth transition from flip to recommendation that was, right?
No edits at all.
Such a good transition.
Yeah.
What is it, Jonathan?
It's True by Rob.
Gilroy.
By Rob Gilroy and John Layman, right? Is that the other guy? Yeah, John Layman. Just want to make sure.
Yes.
Rob Gilroy's art is kind of what makes the book. So.
Right. Yes, I've seen some pictures from this book, and I do very much love the art.
Give us a little breakdown.
Yeah.
So, Chu follows a character named Tony Chu, who is a detective.
Wait,
It's the one book that actually does the thing that we always joke about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That thing where I can't remember the main character's name, so I say Johnny and the title, and that is very
Johnny
But-
Speed.
Yeah.
Johnny Matrix.
Johnny
John-
Matrix is my
Yeah,
favorite.
Tony Chu.
Tony Chu. I love
But
it.
it's CHU, not CHEW.
Very clever.
So it's like Dr. Freeze.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. You're right.
And it follows, Tony Chu is a detective for the FDA. Is it the FDA?
FDA? Food and Drug
Yeah,
Administration?
yeah, Food and Drug Administration.
FDA. Yeah.
FDA.
FDR.
FDR, yeah, Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
One of the
And
best presidents.
he has this,
Some would say.
he is a
But I don't.
chibopath, which is this
Wait, can you say the word one more time?
chibopath. It's a weird word. I never fully knew how to pronounce it.
Okay. You did your best.
Keep
But
going.
he has this ability to take a bite of something and know exactly where it came from, what happened around it. If he takes a bite of the apple, he could tell you the soil that it was grown in.
So can he not enjoy food?
Not really. He can only enjoy one food, which is it turnips or radishes? It's one of the two. I get mixed those up in my head. Just in general, and just in life,
A
not
bland
just
vegetable.
That's
not-
the only food that he doesn't get like the whole pass from.
yeah.
Okay.
Whoa.
It's just one
That sucks. Who wants to eat turnips or radishes?
And it's got brilliant sense of humor, so funny. It has a bunch of great running jokes.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how like straight this book is, like how serious.
No, it is. It's goofy as heck.
Okay.
There's like a chicken who's like the most powerful character in the
Ooh.
series.
Ooh.
He's just a chicken.
That's pretty cool.
Isn't it? It's fairly long too, right? It's like 10 volumes or something.
Yeah,
like
it's
that?
like 12 volumes. But
12
the volumes are
volumes.
also short, or
The same amount of volumes as Lone Wolf and Cub, I think.
yeah,
Definitely not.
sure.
Lone Wolf and Cub is 28 omnibus volumes.
Yeah.
So
Pretty
another
short.
thing, the art in True is, as I mentioned before, awesome. It's super goofy, super cartoony, but also it gets, it does the violence well too in a fun way. And there's lots of background gags, lots of like background characters who have like goofy abilities, just like Tony Chu. And actually, also it has a lot of heart when you get to certain parts of it, and it can give you that single tear action at some points. It hits all the marks for me, and it's a lot about food. I love food. Everyone loves
You
food.
are a chef.
Yeah, if you guys didn't know, I'm actually a professional chef. I work at Gordon Ramsay's Michelin star restaurant.
Yeah.
This is you guys.
The tire place?
That's yeah. The tire place.
Wait, are you sure it wasn't Guy Fieri's
No,
restaurant in Vegas?
not Guy Fieri. Not Guy
But
Fieri.
he's my
Moving
favorite.
on.
Okay.
We're done with Chew.
Yes.
Oh my
Done.
god, this one's for me, right?
This one's for you. Put your hands together.
Don't do it.
Rub those puppies together.
Don't want to edit it out.
Because the book I'm
I
going to recommend to Robbie
Me?
is Sweet Tooth.
What the hell?
Bye.
Oh my god.
I'm blanking on his name. Just kidding, it's Jeff Lemire.
Good dude all around.
That was a funny joke, right?
Hysterical. No edits were done there.
I was intending on that, but I don't know now.
But, Robbie,
Yes.
you haven't read any Jeff Lemire books except for Hawkeye, right?
And Old Man Logan.
Oh yeah. I want to
yeah.
read that so bad.
I forgot he did that.
He did the
I liked
Old
it.
Man Logan being put in the real Marvel universe.
I liked the first story where he's trying. Do you know about it?
I haven't read it. I've only read
It's
the.
pretty cool because he is so worried about the future that he comes from.
Oh,
So he's preemptively
yeah.
going against all the people that cause it.
Very cool.
But like he goes to go after the Hulk, but at this time Amadeus Cho was the Hulk.
Cool.
Cool. It's pretty cool.
I really want to read it. That's
But yeah, I read Hawkeye. I do
and
like
his
it.
Hawkeye underrated. Continue,
Yeah.
Jonathan.
So that the reason I wanted to recommend you Sweet Tooth is because it is a self-drawn Jeff Lemire book, and it is a non-superhero Jeff Lemire book. And I think he works best when he is outside of the big two.
It's from Vertigo, which he loves.
It is also from Vertigo, yes.
I don't
Vertigo.
know why. I always assumed it was Image.
That is a
It's very all of Jeff Lemire's Vertigo stuff feels like it's from Image,
Yeah.
which is awesome.
he's got like the full control over those things.
Yeah.
I love Vertigo.
And Sweet Tooth, it's not even. It's just so good.
So give me like the small
Give him a
premise.
sit rep.
Give me a pitch.
Okay, small premise. Here you go. There is a virus. Yikes. There's a
Can't
virus
relate.
that is killing off most of the population, and these animal hybrids are being born who are immune to the virus. The main character, Gus.
Animal hybrid, you mean half human, half animal?
Yes.
Okay.
Half
Some
human,
are
half
more
animal.
so animal than others.
And the main character.
I wasn't sure if you meant like hybrid between two animals.
Yeah, no, hybrid human animal. My bad. And the main character is Gus, who is one of these hybrids. He's got
Tony Sweettooth.
his name is Tony
Gus
Sweet.
Sweettooth.
His name is Tony Sweettooth, and he is a Chibopath. And
No,
Wait a minute.
that image is like iconic. I've
Yeah.
seen it a million
of
times.
him eating the chocolate
Yeah,
bar.
the chocolate bar and the antlers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good.
I
And
can remember when that first came out and seeing it.
it's got the darkness. It's got some almost like horror elements and like these dream things that come towards the end. I wouldn't call it a horror book though by
Is
any
it
means.
long?
It's not very long.
It's
It's only 6 volumes.
3 deluxes, which are out of print, but it's getting a compendium, which is
Ah.
going to have the whole run.
The
in
whole
it.
run,
Just in time.
just in
Yeah.
time for you to finally read one of my favorite books.
Still waiting on the lock and key.
Yeah, we're not talking about Lock and Key though,
It's
so
just-
maybe
it's
we can stick to what
compendium
we're
of
talking about,
everything.
Robbie. Maybe for once, so we can stick to the topic.
You're really making me want to read Sweet Tooth right now.
Well, I'm glad because you should read it because it's a great book.
It is a great book.
He loves it too.
Yeah.
I do.
I
Our-
think like everyone we know who's read it.
I think
adores
everyone
it.
Our
has
other
read
unnamed
part
guest
two.
in the room loves it as well.
Milano?
Yeah.
No, it is our good friend Shiloh, and Shiloh also loves that book. And
Who?
Brinkley.
Yeah.
This is gonna make no sense if you don't know us.
Milano and Brinkley are two animals.
If you ever hear little sounds in the background of the episodes, it's my two dogs.
Milano
Milano
and,
just being held.
Milano and Shiloh.
No, Shiloh is a good friend of ours sitting in the room, and Brinkley and Milano are Robbie's two pet dogs.
Yes. And Milano, I have to cradle during every episode so
Yeah.
that he doesn't cry.
Now you're in on the joke, our fellow listeners.
Yes.
And yeah.
Any more on Sweet Tooth?
Read it.
Cool.
You just read it, yeah. It's really good.
Okay.
Art's
Did you get the deluxe signed one?
no. I got the soft cover signed.
Oh yes, you have the sock. Yeah, me and Jonathan and our friend Sean got to meet Jeff Lemire.
What a sweetheart.
He was so nice.
He was such a sweet man.
He sketches in every.
Yeah,
book
he's sketched
you
in
know.
every book. Another book I have by him, Essex County, which is
I want to read that.
I'm not recommending. You should both read it. Have you read it?
Yeah, I have not read it yet. I'm waiting. I
Yeah.
don't know why.
I know, I'm done with my recommendation, but both of you read Essex
Yeah,
County.
Waiting for
It
Spider-Man to
is
show up in it.
awesome, and he had my favorite sketch I have in any book or anything is in that book, which is so cool.
Yeah,
But-
I had. Remember, there's a character in Sweet Tooth called Crowboy. He's a very minor character,
I could
but
go
he's
on and on about
my
it.
favorite character of the entire series.
Just
He's
so you have like a
adorable.
full context of who Crowboy is, I think he's in about
He's in about 10 panels.
10 panels, about 3 pages.
Oh, cool.
He's adorable, and I love him so much. And when I met Jeff Lemire, I saw him doing sketches, and when he got to me, I said, "Can you please?" He had already started a sketch. He drew 2 lines, and I said, "Could you please actually draw Crowboy?" And he said, "Oh well, I started this sketch. Let me finish this one first." Did that sketch, and then said, no one's ever asked to draw Crowboy. Flipped in the book to find Crowboy.
So
and
you need
then
a
sketched-
reference because it's been
Yeah,
so long
and
since
then
you drew
drew
Crowboy.
Crowboy for me. So I have 2
That's
sketches
excellent.
in one book.
That's
He
great.
was so nice.
All right,
But
yeah. So I think I'm good. Now I think I'm gonna pass it on to
Rocco.
Rocco.
Hello. So I also have 2 books. I don't have 2 cups of tea though.
Be my
And-
guest.
I have -1.
That's true. Mine was always 0. You lost it. But yeah, so I have 2 books. I will start out with my recommendation to Jonathan, and that
Badass.
book. Actually, you know what? No, I'm gonna go to Robbie first.
Badass.
Because my book to Robbie's also a Jeff Lemire book,
Well,
and is
that's-
also a Vertigo book.
Oh
Who is this guy?
And I want to keep in the Jeff Lemire train. So my book
no
is
way.
called Trillium.
Yeah, that's what my guess was gonna be.
I
Because it was
have-
the only one that you would
Yeah.
have guessed.
I've honestly, I've heard every time you guys talk about Jeff Lemire,
We
I
don't
always,
talk.
I always recognize the titles.
Yeah.
Never heard of this.
So Trillium is a Jeff Lemire book that doesn't get talked about nearly as much as some of his other work. He also draws this one as well, just like Sweet Tooth. So he writes and does the art. This is a short 1-volume book. It's probably like 6 or 7 issues. I think it's 7 issues. And what the story is, there is 2 parallel stories going on. There is a character that is a very Indiana Jones type character from the 30s, doing exploration of a Egyptian tomb. And there is, or not Egyptian, a Native American like tomb. So
interestingly, you've been on the Native American culture, like you've been like looking into that recently, right?
Yes, I have.
Which is very interesting
Oh,
for this
wow, yeah.
recommendation.
I brought it up because of Indiana Jones, but that's
I
makes
do
it even
love
better.
Indiana Jones, yeah.
So and then the other story is in the far future, and it is about a world that is about to blow up, and they're trying to figure out how to like safely get off without all dying. And what happens is this character from the future and this character from the past swap places. I'm doing hand motions right now, and Jonathan is mocking me.
No, I'm just helping.
Thank you. So they swap. So the person from the future doesn't understand anything from the past because they don't know the language. They're just trying to figure it out. And the same happens in the future. This guy from the 30s is like doesn't understand what's going on. It's very cool. He does a lot of really cool stuff with it. There's a part where the ideas in their past start getting mellowed up, and on the top half of the story, it is the guy in the future, but he has a fake backstory from the future, and on the bottom half of the page, going backwards, so kind of like a loop.
That's so cool.
It's like
that Silver Surfer page.
It's like the Silver Surfer page, yeah. But I don't know what came out first. But it's two separate stories going on. So the bottom half is the woman in the past thinking her life is in the past, but you have to start at the end of the book going backwards. It's so cool.
Okay.
It's a Jeff Lemire book. I don't want to spoil too much. It's a Jeff Lemire book that doesn't really get talked about. It's a really cheap deluxe edition. The art is beautiful, and it's definitely worth
I also think it might be his best art.
It
might be his best art. Because if you haven't seen Jeff Lemire's art style, it is I don't know how to describe it fully because it isn't for everybody, but I love it.
Me too.
And I think the one in Trillium is still very much in his style, but it is more refined and definitely.
He's a self-taught artist.
Yeah, he just used to do art for 8 hours a day every day until he got it down. But yeah, no, I think it's a very cool sci-fi book, very cool Indiana Jones style book, like adventure story, and I think you'd like it. So. But moving on from that, I'm going to step away from the Jeff Lemire train. We're going to go to Jonathan, and my choice for you was Pulp by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips.
What?
Now, I know Jonathan is a big fan of cowboys.
Did you know Logan's a Western?
Did you know The Mandalorian's a Western?
What?
Did you know Mandalorian is a samurai story?
What?
Do you know samurai stories and Westerns have a lot of similarities?
Did you know a Western is just a ripoff of the samurai story?
Did you know? I'd love to hear more about Pulp.
Yes. So, on top of the fact that I knew you loved cowboys, I also knew you loved Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips.
I do.
Who?
So.
Oh, hey guys, Ed Brubaker, he just got here.
I'll always.
This sucks.
This is such a bad joke. All right. But yeah, so what this story is, I think this is my favorite Brubaker story I've read.
You haven't read The Fade Out.
Well, when I can get it for a
have
$20
that.
hardcover like you did somehow, maybe I'll get it.
Magnificent.
Book goes for a lot of money, everybody. Moving on. So what this story is about a cowboy who lived through the Western era of time. So like that ends around 1890s, like very early 1900s, and he is living in the 30s and I think it's late 30s, almost the 40s, and he's still alive, which no cowboy should be at that time, and that because they all they just died. They
went extinct.
Their profession got them killed a lot of time. So you don't really think about cowboys living through the Great Depression, and what he's doing to keep a living is he is making comic books based off of his real adventures as a cowboy.
That's awesome. I know that.
Yeah, so, but he's not making a lot of money.
That's what Todd McFarlane did with Spawn.
That is, he was famously a cowboy and then based his Spawn adventures on
Seth MacFarlane?
Seth MacFarlane.
Family Guy is famously based off of his cowboy years.
I don't know. Pulp doesn't really sound like a Western.
Okay.
Well,
let's keep
Can I
going.
interject real quick about what a Western is?
Let me finish the synopsis first, and then you can do that.
that.
Because then we yes. So what happens is he has a heart attack and knows he lives through it, but he knows his life is kind of coming to an end, and he wants to have one last hurrah. And he meets up with the old Pinkerton who would come after him.
Pinkerton.
The Pinkertons are the cops basically that were trying to capture the cowboys.
It's also Weezer's second album.
Yeah. So what? I don't see the correlation here, bud. So they decide a plan to what's really cool is Brubaker found a real Nazi party thing that was going on in New York City in the 30s, like a big parade type thing, and the idea is they're gonna rob the Nazis for their one last hurrah.
They're gonna rob the Straight Pride Parade.
Let's
Wait.
go.
Pause. What?
Is that cool?
What's cool is it's a real thing.
Okay.
Oh.
No, I think robbing.
To clarify, it was cool that it was a real parade that he was basing it off in the book. Not that it was a. It's not cool that it was a Nazi parade.
But I think it's cool. I think robbing from Nazis is pretty cool.
Nazis suck, so it is pretty cool that they're robbing the Nazis. So that's the setup. It's one volume. It wasn't released as singles. It was released as a complete one and done story. It's amazing. I think you would love it.
It's on my list.
Now, Robbie, what clarifies a Western?
So yeah, there's some debate around this book of people saying it's Western, not saying it's Western. It is Western, but not because there's a cowboy in it. It's a Western or
That does help.
It does, yeah, I guess. It's a Western or what can be called neo-Western because it is the story. From everything it sounds like, is a man at the end of his rope during a big point in change.
Yeah,
and that is the core concept of what a Western is.
I look at Western as two separate things. There's Western as a genre, and then there's Western as an aesthetic. So I think they're usually together.
It's almost like it uses its misdirection as a Western. You see the cowboy on the cover and you think, oh, it's a Western, but it's actually a Western for a totally different reason.
Yeah, and what's really cool, because like you said, it could be a neo-Western where it doesn't actually have cowboys. It takes place in modern day, but it's still the same story. What's cool is this is both, because it does have a real cowboy. Because I just never thought about cowboys living through that era. So it was just like kind of blew my mind a little, because I was like, how did no one ever think of this before? But yeah, that's just me. I really think it's worth checking out.
Oh
Cool.
yeah, I really want to read it.
I
Yeah.
have it lined up to go next,
Good.
so
I'm glad.
I'm excited.
Now, Robbie,
Huh.
I hear you have 2 books you'd like to recommend.
God, guys, this topic is fun.
This is fun.
I like this.
I thought of like one each I want to recommend again that I'm not going
Save
to.
it for another podcast, bud.
All right, I'm gonna go with Jonathan first.
Okay.
Cool.
Jonathan,
Yeah.
you should read one of my favorite indie books of all time. One of my favorite books of all time. My favorite writer, Matt Fraction. His birthday just passed.
Yesterday. For us.
At the time of recording this, yeah. It's a book that just wrapped up with art by the great Chimps Zdarsky.
I wonder what it is.
Oh, Batman 1027.
Yeah! No.
I can't figure this out.
Sex criminals. Now.
What is that face you're making, Jonathan?
Try not to make a certain.
Jonathan, stop! No, please.
I'm trying not to make a certain joke,
Okay.
and I'm sure you both
Still make
Sure.
Yeah.
Um,
cut that out.
All right.
Don't
so,
cut it out.
Here's the thing about this book. Anyone who has read it can back me up and reassure how great this book is and how sincere and genuinely sweet this book can be.
As someone who has read it, I could back up that this book is genuine and sweet and everything else Robbie
Thank
just
you,
said,
Rocco.
because I kind of forgot.
Can I
What's up?
Can I tell you guys something?
Yeah.
I own it.
You do own it?
I just haven't read it.
Oh, excellent.
What?
All right, so the problem I run into with this book is describing it to people. Because when I describe it, people picture something totally different.
Yeah.
This book is very good.
Hmm.
But the premise, if for those who don't know, is it follows a girl named Susie
Susie.
who discovers when she is younger that when she orgasms, time stops. And she can exist in this glowy spatial environment where everything except her is frozen, and she calls it the quiet.
Hmm.
And then, when she's an adult, she hooks up with a guy named John, and then when time stops, they are both surprised to see the other is moving, because John can do the same thing, except he calls it, cum world.
Yeah.
And so, but right there, that is very much a big point of the book, is like,
How different these
how
two.
different these two are and how different the book is by having something genuinely sincere, but that does go very immature at times. It's never
Hmm.
sexy for the point of exploitation. It's always it's always sexy in a way that will enforce their relationship or the humor.
What does that mean? It's always sexy in a way.
I mean, any.
It's only sexy in a way where
I
it's...
worded that pretty terribly.
It's only sexy in.
It's only sexy, full stop.
What I meant was.
It's only sexy in its themes.
What I meant was. Any use of sexuality is for humor and not exploitation.
That's better.
Yeah, that's a much better way of saying it.
Oh my god.
And
that was
also,
really funny.
Chip Zdarsky is really riding high right now as a writer.
I love
And
that
has
man.
been for a while.
He's so good.
I love him.
This is very much what got his name out there as an artist, not a writer. And his art is very good. I
Yeah.
like it a lot.
I wish he did more art, but I get why
I
he doesn't
understand why he
want
does
to.
Yeah. Me
Um,
too.
And Matt Fraction, as a writer, I mean, he kills it.
He does.
Is really good. There's really funny, sort of nearing on fourth wall breaking jokes. Like there's a scene where Susie sings all of Queen's "Fat Bottom Girls" by Queen,
Yeah.
but there's post-its over all the words
Yeah, I
by
forgot
Matt
about that.
Fraction talking about why legally they can't show you what she's singing, but this is the song.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's like
really
Deadpool.
No. It's really good though.
Yeah,
So-
it's fantastic.
So you do own. What do you own of it?
And on the first hardcover,
That's good. I think there's gonna be 4.
Three.
Three.
Okay.
Like a lot of Image books. Somehow it always ends up at 3 hardcovers. I don't know how.
Definitely worth a go. Now, Rocco,
Yes.
I won't lie to you. I'm stuck between 2 titles on you. One you own, one you should own.
Well, my title is Mister, so.
Okay. I'm gonna go with my initial one that I know you
Okay.
own, and that's Grant Morrison's Doom Patrol.
Wow, that's so funny. I own that book.
You do?
Wow.
Wow.
What are the odds?
it's so funny. I've read a third of that book, and
It's
I
not
really
about you
like
right now. It's
Robbie's
just-
recommendation for you.
This is
Now I'm gonna
this-
stop.
this-
I'm gonna
this-
stop talking,
this-
and that
yeah.
Robbie
Okay.
get along
Thank you.
with his recommendation.
Oh God, thank you so much.
This is cool, guys. All right. So Grant
Continue.
Grant Morrison's Doom Patrol.
Yes.
It's one of my favorite comics. You guys know who the Doom Patrol is. That TV show is phenomenal.
Yes, I've watched a good portion of it,
So
and I like it a lot.
Grant Morrison loves these absurd Silver Age characters that have sort of lost what made them interesting. So what he does is he brings the team back to basics, introduces a handful of new characters, and pushes the weirdness farther than it ever went in the past. It's Grant Morrison trying a lot of stuff that he'll perfect later in his career, for sure. He does a lot of fun, interesting stuff, like typing. Grant Morrison is they're a very interesting person in their work ethic. And they talked about the use of new technology, and they would type gibberish at times and use the autocorrect to see what it said.
Oh, I heard about that.
So
That
there
is
are.
crazy.
I don't know if you could identify where that takes place, but they did a lot of fun things like that.
Yes.
But the Doom Patrol, I mean, I just love these characters, man. Robot Man, Mr. Negative becomes Rebus, which is the joining of the Negative Spirit, Larry Trainer, and Eleanor Poole, who's a nurse.
Oh, that's
They
interesting.
introduce Crazy Jane,
Yes.
very fun character with 64 split personalities, each one with a different power.
Crazy Jane's fun.
And don't they all? Do
I
they
like-
have different text boxes, or just some of the
Some of them do.
personalities do? That's
Yeah.
so cool.
I mean, it's stellar. It's a book that Karen Berger considers as a Vertigo book, even though Doom Patrol didn't become a Vertigo book until after Morrison leaves.
When it was re-released, like the last few years, it was released as a Vertigo. too.
Yeah.
Now that Vertigo's gone, though, I would assume it would go to a DC,
DC,
Black label.
yeah.
yeah.
I love the Doom Patrol. Very good.
Is Dorothy rest appears in that one too?
Yeah, Dorothy
Okay.
Spinner.
Yeah.
I like her a lot.
Very fun
Which I
character.
I started to see her. I've only watched half of season 2, but I know
She's really good at it.
she is really good in it.
I like it a lot.
That's a good.
Yeah.
I definitely want to get on that soon. I've had it for a while. It's just a big book, so I always get scared to start it.
Yeah, it's a very big book.
It's one of the
Yeah.
bigger omnibuses I own.
I have a couple of those too.
Just to drop the title of the other one, I was going to recommend Casanova, also by Matt Fraction.
It's very funny you picked Matt Fraction. I almost recommended a Matt Fraction book to Jonathan.
Which one?
I almost recommended Jimmy Olsen to him.
Oh, it's so
Yeah, but I'm gonna be reading Jimmy Olsen.
Well, that's why I
That's a
decided to
very
pick a different one.
Anyway.
So this was a fun topic.
This was
Yeah.
very fun. I think it would be fun in like a couple episodes, like a couple months from now. We could do another one, maybe.
Follow up on
Yeah,
it.
I had a similar one to you that I didn't recommend to him because he wants to read it already, which was Gideon Falls.
Yeah,
I do
yeah. I
like that.
figured you were gonna read that one soon too.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't want to.
Also by Jeff Lemire.
Yeah,
Who?
lots of Matt Fraction and Jeff Lemire's. But yeah, no, because there's always books to recommend to each other.
Yeah.
So I think this could always be a fun topic we come back to.
Yeah.
Todd Phillips should write a comic.
Todd Phillips Joker.
Todd McFarlane should write a comic. He's so good on art. I think he could do something real special.
Should really write a comic.
Can we talk about Todd Phillips for the remainder of the time? Because I love Todd Phillips.
This has been
I could not get
this
enough.
has been bananas
This-
for Todd Phillips
This
comics.
has been Sargasm.